The Weed Porn Daily podcast is brought to you by the residential Weed Porn Daily iPhone. That's right, we're still on this jank-ass iPhone, you know what's up, recording at those awesome audio levels, hearing all kinds of background noise and shit, that's what's up. But we're also brought to you by the Weed Porn Daily shop. Head over to WeedPornDaily.com/shop and stock up on the most affordable weed socks and hemp wicks out there. We also stock rolling papers, prints, stickers, and various other stoney supplies. So check out our shop and use the coupon code PODCAST for 10% off. POTCAST. And I think that's it. If you want to advertise with the Weed Porn Daily podcast, head over to WeedPornDaily.com/advertise, and we can hook you up with banner advertising on the website and Tumblr, or we can hook you up with a sponsored post kind of scenario where you have like a post or two or more on the site, and that gets archived and kept forever. Or you can have a video dedicated towards you, or an ad inside of a video, or you can have a podcast ad narrated by yours truly. All those options available through inquiry over at WeedPornDaily.com/advertise. So let's get right into this bowl. Let's get these lighters sparked and started. Let's get the hemp wicks lit. Let's get a candle lit so that the hemp wick can be consistently lit throughout the session without necessarily having to respark a lighter and waste excessive butane. Let's just keep reusing natural oils produced by the planet and that are easy to manufacture. And let's also, get some also other oils, that are easy, kind of easy, depending on your method of extraction to acquire. And take those oils and slap them on a hot piece of metal, perhaps. Maybe even a hot piece of quartz, if you're feeling like you're going to flavor country, perhaps. Maybe hit it at a low temp. After it's been red hot and cooled down significantly, you can slap your slab on there. That was a little hard. And just get that BHO bubbling up on that nice nail. So let's get this party started. I've got a bowl here of black domino. Indica dominant bud.
Did you say domino?
Black domina. Yeah.
Domina,
yeah. I don't even know what that stands for. Like domina. I feel like it means something. But it tastes and smells like kind of like piney soap. More so soap. And it just hits you like a fucking train. Gets you on that couch lock. Gets your eyes just like relaxed and makes you feel lethargic and gives your body a big heavy stone. And doesn't really do much for the mind. It is really indica dominant and just really fucking indica dominant. To dominate, I'm sure.
Well, it's basically it's a title for like a master or an owner, like a sovereign title. So if it's domina, I'm sure it's a title given to noble women. Yeah.
Interesting. So black domina, you can look it up, check it out. I'm not sure if it's black domina, but I don't know. Who knows? Until I get one of those home THC testing kits. They have them. You're laughing. They have them in fucking Chile. We can get them here. So let's smoke this bowl. Yeah, let's do it. I'm gonna spark up this hemp wick here. You ever pack a bowl and you forget about it? You just pack a bowl and you're already so stoned that you don't smoke it, and then you go like 10, 20 minutes, maybe an hour later, and you're like, oh, let me smoke a bowl. And you go to check, or maybe even pack it in already, and you're packing in on top of your greens, and you're like, whoa, hey.
How do you overpack on top of your greens?
Well, I guess if it's like me, where I already packed the bowl to the fullest. Yeah. Try to do a Mount Fuji. It's not about creating a mound. It's All right, cheers, guys. Welcome to the WeedPornDaily podcast. I'm Grouch, the editor, owner, the dude who you can find find out all about at WeedPornDaily.com/about. And you can also find out about the lovely, the talented, the wonderful Mrs. WeedPornDaily here.
Thank you. And you can find out about me on at MRSWPD. That's at Mrs. WPD on Instagram and on Twitter as well. Yeah.
And you can hit us up, Twitter, YouTube, Tumblr, all that jazz, WeedPornDaily. The only one that's different is Instagram, and that's the real WPD. So let's jump right into the news this week, because we've got a pile of news to cover, and it's all like pertinent news that's been like it's been, you would think that the holiday season there would just be nothing going on, everybody's just at home, no politicians are doing any business, business. And it's been blowing up. So let's jump right into this money making right here. If you'd like to follow along with the news, as always, head over to WeedPornDaily.com, hit the news button up top. You can also go to news.weedporndaily.com. You can go to blog.weedporndaily.com/tag/news, or you can also use the tag system and search for crime, activism, legalize it, or your state or country if you're in like the UK, Jamaica, Canada. Yeah. So from Colorado, we've been seeing a lot of Colorado tax money going into the state, and a lot of that jazz, a lot of sales being made, and money being collected through that. And I feel like a couple months ago we reported on something similar to this happening, but this may be the first time it happens in this particular way. But pot shops are raking in money themselves from taxes, surprisingly enough. Thanks to, I guess this is via the cannabis. Colorado's cannabis shops, on the hook for higher taxes than the traditional retailers, are nonetheless reaping more than $500,000 in rebated sales tax revenue in 2014, thanks to timely payment to the taxman. The refunded money from the state's so-called vendor fee, a 79-year-old agreement the state made with its businesses, suggests that the state's marijuana businesses are achieving an important goal, that of becoming more establishment, despite the extra hurdles they face in the marketplace. I guess that sentence kind of makes sense, but it threw me off the first time I read it. The majority of states with a statewide sales tax have an equivalent to Colorado's vendor fee, which rewards all businesses, not just pot shops, for the prompt payment of taxes by letting them keep a percentage of them each month. Colorado's vendor fee, which allows businesses to keep 3.3% of the 2.9% sales tax, dates back to 1935, though it has been reduced or temporarily eliminated at various times since then.
Very cool.
So they were able to take 2.9% of...
No, they're 3.3% of 2.9?
No, wait. They were able to take 2.9% of, like, a fucking, let's say, $10 million, it's going to be way more than that, profit. And then they're able to take, like, 3.3% of that. That's pretty nice. When you're dealing in millions of dollars, it adds up clearly. And over $500K, that's a pretty nice fat stack to see back at the end of the year when you've been dealing with like so much bullshit, banks not taking your money, and the state not taking your money unless it's in a check form, and you're like, what? I can only deal in cash, and how do I do this? And all the headaches they've had to deal with, now they're getting a little bit of money back, and they'll be able to reinvest it, I'm sure. Or just pay back some investments. Some good news coming to us from California.
I've never heard of this newspaper. Have you?
Yeah.
Have you used it before?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's pretty popular.
Oh.
It's like one of the local papers. Concentrated cannabis qualifies as medical marijuana. California court rules. This comes to us via the Sacramento Bee. A state appellate court in Sacramento has ruled that the concentrated cannabis, quote-unquote, qualifies as marijuana for purposes of medical use. A unanimous three-judge justice panel of the 3rd District Court of Appeal disagreed this week with an earlier ruling by El Dorado Superior Court Judge James R. Wagner and reversed the judge's decision that a medical marijuana patient violated probation by possessing concentrated cannabis. Sean Patrick McKelvey of Cameron Park was charged in 2013 with unlawful possession of concentrated cannabis, a misdemeanor, and was alleged to have violated his probation because of his failure to obey all laws.
When they say concentrated cannabis, you mean like concentrates?
Just literally like hash,
okay.
Or it could be edibles as well, because they're made with concentrates.
Okay. Interesting. Well, that's good.
Yeah, good news for California there. It's a very distinct line that needs to be made, and it needs to be drawn very far away from anything dangerous, because concentrated cannabis is an even safer choice than the raw form, than the leaf, than the chlorophyll-filled fucking, what is it, carcinogenic plant matter.
Yes.
God damn, that was hard to get out. I was like, carbon plant matter? But this was some interesting news. Yeah. Moving along from the Denver Post. Colorado sued by Nebraska and Oklahoma over pot legalization. In the most serious legal challenge to date against Colorado's legalization of marijuana, 2 neighboring states have asked the U.S. Supreme Court to strike down the history-making law. Nebraska and Oklahoma filed the lawsuit directly with the nation's highest court on Thursday. The 2 states argue in the lawsuit that, quote, the state of Colorado has created a dangerous gap in the federal drug control system, end quote. Quote, marijuana flows from this gap into neighboring states, undermining plaintiff states' own marijuana bans, draining their treasuries, and placing stress on their criminal justice systems, end quote, the lawsuit alleges. So we've got these states complaining that because people, like the people in their states, or people that cross over their states, are so interested in getting cannabis from Colorado and taking it back home, that is creating a big problem for them. Like, because we've created safe access to something that people want, you know, and for some reason we have to create an arbitrary line that you can't cross, like an invisible line that if you step over it, suddenly that edible in your hand is now federally and illegal by the state, and you can be put in prison for several years and ruin your entire life. But step right back over that invisible line. Free country, man. Go plant some seeds. Fucking go down to a store, buy as much as you want to some extent.
Snack.
Yeah, just get as fucked up as you want. Step right back over that line, stumble over it. We're waiting for you with handcuffs. You know, it's like, why are we even playing this game anymore? Like, rather than understanding and taking the steps forward and seeing the progress that's being made and all the tax money and the money that's being saved on the criminal justice system, these people are arguing that it's creating more stress for them. It's incredible.
Well, it's like fucking, it reminds me of how people go to Canada and they bring back drugs. Like, they bring back prescription drugs that are available easily and openly and, like, inexpensively at, like, Walmart and those kind of services, which are American companies, but because they're in Canada, they can, service those kind of drugs. And it's ridiculous. It's like, we're not suing Canada for having that. No.
Exactly.
Like,
Canada needs to change its laws because the U.S. people are taking advantage of it.
Yeah.
Because the U.S. people are going down to Mexico and taking advantage of their prescription drugs. Like, we need to, change the Mexican laws. Like, this, I mean, I understand that we are dealing in the realm of the U.S. here, but still, it's...
It doesn't... Well, it's just like, okay, it's like, now, like, we have a whole, let's say we're inside of a gated community, and Mark down the street, he just got his son a car, and now his son is driving around, showing off to all the kids, like, hey, my dad got me a car. Now I, as a parent, feel responsible that I didn't get my son, Johnny, a car, and now you're pressuring me and making me look bad in front of my kid, in front of my family, in front of all my neighbors. Like, it's the same shit. It's like, it's just being immature about it. It just seems like a joke. It seems super silly.
Yeah, Gary got a new barbecue, and I keep smelling it every time I go into my backyard. We need to make a new community rule that no one is allowed barbecues, because if I can't have one, he can't have one.
I can't, yeah.
And if I swear, if I see another fucking, I don't even know what you would like throw into your yard, like bones or like coal or something, like, I don't know. If I get some more fucking soot on the side of my house, I swear to God, Gary, I'm taking this to the state court, to the people court. Bum, 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 bum. We need oh yeah, Russ. I was trying to think of the one. I was trying to keep hold of it in my head. Russ Belville talked about this topic on his podcast, and he discussed that when states sue each other like this, the previous cases where this has happened, it tends to be over like state lines and rivers and things like that, and designations like that. And these types of cases tend to take decades and tend to lie unresolved. Like that a lot of them are still going. So it'll be interesting to see how quickly this gets resolved, or if this just gets pushed back like everything else.
That's a really interesting observation.
Oh, a nice way to take it. You know, like instead of just reacting to it, like looking at the placement of it, the situation, and seeing that it's not really that big of a deal. Maybe.
Well, this is a big deal.
This is a big deal. We've talked about this in the past with New York passing a medical marijuana law but not allowing smoking. So you're only allowed edibles and tinctures and stuff like that. And they also passed, I believe, a CBD bill. Or that was the medical marijuana thing, and they're still struggling to get that shit together. I mean, there's still no dispensaries. People are still getting probably stopped and frisked. I haven't heard about it recently, but I can guarantee it's still happening. Just at maybe a reduced rate, if you believe the police chief's multiple things he says over multiple time periods in between multiple reports of them doing high stop and frisks. But an 8-year-old's death prompts medical marijuana rally outside Andrew Cuomo's office. Patients, advocates, and family members of sick children staged a rally outside of New York Governor Andrew Cuomo's Manhattan office Friday to demand that the Democrat establish an emergency access medical marijuana program for the state, 1 week after an 8-year-old from Niagara Falls. Niagara Falls is in New York?
Yeah.
Yeah?
It's upstate New York.
Shit. Okay, a girl from Niagara Falls died from brain cancer. More than 5 months after Governor Cuomo signed a bill into law that was meant to bring vital treatment to our family, my daughter Donala is dead. Nate Nocera, whose daughter died December 12th, said at the event, Governor Cuomo, I know you cannot turn back time to get us the medical marijuana that could have slowed the aggressive growth of the tumor in the brain, but you have the power to end the needless suffering of so many New York families. As of yet, we have not seen any response from Cuomo or any movements in New York since. It's a shame. A lot of these medical marijuana systems are so complicated when they get instated that it gets passed, and it was such a huge struggle for it to get passed. People campaign for it. It takes months, if not years, and then it gets passed, and then it takes more months, if not years, to open up the first dispensaries, if not just plant the first fucking seeds.
If you're even lucky, because then there's some systems that they say, yeah, we're welcoming CBDs or whatever, but then we also have to have 4 years of testing to prove that this is safe or whatever, some kind of bullshit.
We need a university to verify that it actually does help children, because we don't want to be giving you fake medicine or something.
We're looking out for you guys.
Yeah, we care because we care. So this was an interesting case. We've talked about guns rights in the past, where particularly in California, people were struggling to keep their gun licenses. Even Joe Rogan talked about how I think he doesn't have a gun anymore, or he doesn't smoke medical marijuana anymore because he wants to hold a gun. One or the other. He has a staunch opinion on it, and he's talked about it on many podcasts. And it's just something that a lot of medical marijuana patients have dealt with, where, for some reason they can't be rightful gun owners. Because it's illegal under federal law, when they go in to buy a gun, on the paper that you have to take a questionnaire and say that you're not crazy and you're not going to kill people and all that. It asks you if you do any drugs that are illegal federally. And by law, you cannot lie and, say that you don't. So medical marijuana patients can't own guns until it becomes, I'm just touching the thing, it becomes legal on a recreational level. And at that point, suddenly it's not this concentrated group of medical marijuana patients, but it's the entire state. Everyone who is over 21 has access to cannabis now. And everyone over 21 has a possibility of owning a gun. Or 18, I don't know what the thing is, but... So those two are now coinciding, so now we have to deal with this issue.
We have to address it.
We have to address it, exactly. Pistol-packing pot smokers? Fucking AP. Brought to you by the Associated Press. A Colorado campaign would guarantee marijuana users gun rights. Colorado was the first state to legalize recreational marijuana sales. Now the state's voters may consider a ballot measure to allow pot smokers to carry a concealed firearm. The Colorado Campaign for Equal Gun Rights is working to put a question on the November 2016 ballot to have Colorado ignore guidelines from the U.S. Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives about firearms and pot. The measure would change the state law to prevent sheriffs from denying concealed carry permits because of marijuana use. It's a new frontier in the marijuana wars, and one that has divided gun rights activists.
That's really hard.
Yeah. Well, it's just that people immediately you just say hey, okay, you want to say that we can't use cannabis and carry a gun? You guys can't have alcohol and carry guns. Because there's absolutely no law that says that you can't get fucking crunked up and have a concealed firearm, which is absolutely insane considering the literal effects of alcohol on the mind. This one was interesting. I was actually listening to a podcast this morning via the... Hi, I'm Matthew Kind, and this is... what's the name of the podcast? I'm Matthew Kind, and I'm bringing you the inside scoop on the marijuana industry via the Canna Insider. That's the podcast. So, Matthew Kind did an interview recently with the CEO of NestDrop, which is an application that delivers alcohol and medical cannabis to patients in California. I mean, you don't have to be a medical patient to get the alcohol, but you have to be one to get the cannabis. Yeah. So he discussed that with him this morning, and I got an inside, I guess, perspective on the matter, and to hear it essentially from the horse's mouth. But but via the cannabis. A judge has ordered a smartphone application that facilitates the delivery of medical marijuana to stop its activities in Los Angeles, and to remove all reference to marijuana delivery within city limits. Los Angeles County Superior Court Judge Robert O'Brien issued the preliminary injunction against Nestrop on Tuesday, more than a year after City Attorney Mike Fuhrer first filed a complaint accusing the business of violating a voter-approved ballot measure that banned medical marijuana delivery services in Los Angeles. Proposition D, which was approved last year, limited the number of storefront dispensaries and explicitly banned delivery services, Fuhrer said. Nestrop, which connects,
said in a statement that
it's an important service and it will continue to try to do it in other cities. Yeah, but this guy basically came out and he, like, they did the podcast, and I saw the podcast and I was like, man, it's funny, they did this podcast and I guarantee it's a banked podcast. Like, he did this a while ago. So I wonder if he has an update or something that tackles the current issue that's happening like right now in the news. And he actually did. At the end of the podcast, he had like a little snippet where he stops and he's like, okay, that's the end of the interview. And after this happened, we actually had a news article come out about Proposition D and this all. And I called the guy back and had him for a few questions about the incident. And he just... It was interesting to hear him talk about it. Like apparently he is under the impression that Proposition D, even though it bans delivery services, it allows particular dispensaries to operate with delivery services for patients with like debilitating illnesses.
Like they can't get out of their house.
Yeah, if I have fucking cancer and I'm bedridden, or literally I don't know, for some reason I can't get out of bed, which is so many people. They're in the hospital bed, like they're in their house bed in hospice. It's just a situation that people get in. I need the cannabis to come to me. I can't drive like miles down to the dispensary, walk into the dispensary, walk around. Like, no, bro. So it's a vital service, particularly for medicine. We're still talking about medical marijuana, not a recreational system here. But it was just interesting to hear, like, they're not in the iPhone App Store because they can't be. You can't be like a service that sells medical cannabis and be in the App Store. They won't approve you. So they're only in the Android store with the medical cannabis. But you can find them in the iPhone store for alcohol, ironically.
I'm sure Steve Jobs would have had the medical cannabis.
He would have approved.
Yeah.
I would have emailed Steve and been like, bruh. I saw the movie.
In California.
I saw the one in 1980, and then I saw the Ashton Kutcher movie. I know what you do, bro. I know you're fucking barefoot right now reading this email.
Ashton Kutcher wasn't doing the movie.
What are you talking? He did the movie.
Oh, wait.
Yeah, he did it. It was done. It's been done, and his face is on the fucking poster. Like, it is real. So the last article of news today, another discussion stemming from California. Some more dispensaries getting regulated upon as California slowly crunches down on the medical marijuana system, trying to get its game together, trying to shape up and look like Colorado so they can finally pretty itself up for the legalization ball happening very soon. SD, San Diego, continues its pot shop crackdown. This comes to us via the UT San Diego. 5 more illegal medical marijuana dispensaries have been shut down by City Attorney Jan Goldsmith, including 2 in Mission Valley and 1 each in North Park, Kearny Mesa, and City Heights. City officials are facing pressure to close as many illegal pot shops as possible before the first legal dispensaries open early next year. The most recent estimates put the number of illegal dispensaries operating in San Diego at roughly 50. The city attorney's office has closed down more than 200 dispensaries in the past 4 years, including 40 in the second half of 2014. Many have voluntarily shut down because civil action was threatened, but new shops continue to open. So this is a big thing in California, Proposition D, Measure D, fucking Measure this. All these regulations trying to crack down on the number of dispensaries and really license them and regulate them. You can see it in, I think it's Los Angeles, where Dave Warden is actually at. His dispensary.
He's in Los Angeles?
He was in Studio City, and now he's in LA, I believe. So now that he's in LA, he's not at SC Pot anymore. He's at the Weed, the Wellness, Earth, and Energy Dispensary. And that is actually, or was it? Now, maybe I'm confusing him. I think SC Pot or the Weed were a pre-ICO fucking dispensary, and they were in for Proposition D, and they ended up being one of the limited dispensaries allowed to run.
Wow, really?
Like, when the measure came out, they were like, okay, all the dispensaries that want to be open, you had to be open before 2007. You know, like, you had to be lucky enough to just be in that early. And luckily, Dave Warden's dispensary was. So his is a prime example of just that kind of grandfathering that has, like, luck that goes into that.
It's crazy grandfathering how the system works,
Yeah. So that's it for the news.
WeedPornDaily news.
We get to move on to the WeedPornDaily office. What's been happening? Jimmy, send out the papers. We got some news to talk about. We've been making forums. We've been working on strain databases.
Well, you just gave away everything. I don't know what we're going to talk about anymore.
What is it? Something. Read all about it.
Extra.
Yeah. So there's more.
Okay.
So we talked about in the last podcast how we've been editing more videos now and trying to get more videos out, and how we actually got some video lights recently, because you actually needed some professional equipment for your portfolio.
Yes.
For your graduation. It's a serious fucking business.
Yeah, man.
So I got to take some really nice shots of your work and make it look sexy. But
portfolio shit, yeah.
Due to that, I've also been able to gain access to the lights.
Borrow them.
Exactly. So we tested this out, and we shot the 420 Goodie Box December box with the new lights. So that was the most crisp, fucking
saddest excuse for a box ever.
I was gonna say it's the most crisp, clear video on the channel, but yeah, it was pretty sad. It was a little sad of a box for Christmas. Yeah. We discussed it in the video. You get a 5-inch Dicro pipe, which was it was like an okay pipe. Like if you didn't have a piece and you needed a piece, it's a great pipe, and it felt really solid. It felt like I could drop it a few times in the sink while washing it and not have to worry, that kind of shit, or drop it on the table while packing it. We had a little glass stash jar that was with a plastic top.
It was the most generic jar ever. It was not a stash jar.
Yeah. There was a 420 Goodie Box grinder keychain.
A sticker.
And a 420 Goodie Box sticker that featured Santa Claus, a 3D Santa smoking a bong, which was the only Christmassy piece of anything in the box.
There was a keychain that helped.
The grinder keychain. And then what was it? The Pirate's Booty corn puff snack.
Munchie.
The munchie item of that week, or the month rather. That was a little sad. I expected a candy cane or just something Christmassy. Just that is your month to just throw in something fucking red and white. It's just so easy. Just go down to the fucking Walgreens, and instead of buying the Pirate's Booty, you buy your fucking self some fucking Christmas candy.
Cheap-ass little, candy canes.
That's it. Boom, done.
That come, 600 in a pack.
So that was a little disappointing. And what was that it in the box? That thing... there was a Scarface rolling paper, and... that
was the keychain.
Keychain. Oh, that's what you meant, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was nice. It was like a tin rolling paper case with Starface like branding on it, and actually Scarface branded rolling papers, which were
they were shitty. They were thick. They were whatever, but
thick. Well, they
generic, but you can replace the rolling papers.
Exactly. Like I said in the video, you can just slap some stickers on the tin case, and it just improves it completely. So that was probably one of the better additions. Like the pipe and that were the highlights for me. But yeah, that video is up on the YouTube channel. Check that out. You can see the new lighting. You can see a psychedelic like throw mat that Miss WeedPornDaily had that looked really sick. And we're gonna do a giveaway soon for that box, of course. Haven't announced it yet, but I have some big plans for that giveaway. So keep an eye out for that on the giveaway tag, blog.weedporndaily.com/tag/giveaway. But yeah, I'm gonna do a giveaway soon, tied in with the new forums.
Really? How are you gonna do that?
I'm thinking I'm gonna do like like the best post, or the top thread, top viewed or top replied to, or just like top
poster.
One that looks awesome. Will get a prize, and then the top poster will get a prize. Like I'm gonna try to really
nice.
gamify the forum system to get people engaged.
Is the forum system gonna have like a hierarchy where you get like kind of like medals or titles?
I'm hoping to work that into it. I used to have that on the previous forum, but I don't have it in yet. It's very like right now the forums are in and all the like actual forums are there, so you can see like all the categories and stuff, and you can post in and all that. And I've even put in an arcade system so you guys can play like some classic asteroids.
I gotta play it soon.
Yeah, you gotta start setting some high scores.
Fight me. No.
Well, that's what happened last time we had the arcade and the forum. There were some rivalries going on in the arcade. It was pretty funny. So I hope to continue that again. Give people a place to just burn some time and have some fun. And so yeah, it's just that, and I've installed a few plugins for like spammers and stuff, and it's just a few low-techy stuff, nothing too crazy yet. I'll get deep soon. But new forum.
Very cool.
Check it out, weedporndaily.com/forum. Feel free to sign up, post, and just join that community. I'm gonna really just try to cultivate like a nice little community there of people. Yeah.
Go on.
No.
I was just gonna say, like, I always think about like how Pete Warner can go about talking about his forums, and he says, "Well, yeah, so in the forums and in the forums this and in the forums that," and I'm like, I would love to have a community that like we can have very like strong opinions shine through and speak.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I get jealous of every time I hear a Diz Unplugged podcast, or I listen to one of the old Smodcast podcasts. Kevin Smith had like a forum where you actually had to pay to join. Because
I remember that.
He had so many like people coming on there and giving him hate and spammers and shit that his system for dealing with that was that you had to pay like $1 or $5 to sign up on the forum, and all of it went to charity or something or whatever. Or actually, I think it went to paying for the boards, honestly. But which is it's the smartest thing to do. But people would sign up, and it kept like a nice community, and they had some really tight-knit relationships on there. People got married on the forums. Like they talked about how people met on the forums, and they talked about how they like met up in real life and then got married later down the line. And they
I know lots of people like that.
And
it's crazy.
Fucking like Jen had her own like little section of the forum that she would hang out in, and she had her own little circle of friends in that, and they would reply to her topics and talk to her and PM her and things like that. And the Diz Unplugged people talk about it all the time, how they have they're really community engaged, where they just pull topics constantly, and they're listening to their viewers and polling them, and
there's so many fucking like ads.
Yeah, on the site. But they do a good job.
Corey does a good job.
They do a great job of bringing in the community and engaging them, and being a part of it. They just seem like that. They had a new person come onto the show, Jenny Lynn, and she came over
Jenny
from
Lynn
like
Knox.
she came in over from another like attraction as organization to entertainment,
like a travel industry thing, yeah.
And you could tell on her first podcast that she was so nervous. And it wasn't because I don't think that she was on film, because she'd been on film countless times and hosted her own show and
stuff.
She's
a journalist.
Yeah, exactly. So she's done her time. But just being a part of the community and having them judge her and having them, having this new pool of people to dip into, essentially, was very unnerving for her. And, just having that pool, it would be nice to be able to cultivate that. Because I know it's there with Tumblr. We have, like, hundreds of thousands of followers, and we have a lot of people liking stuff, reblogging stuff, sending us messages. But I'd like a place for the people just come together and meet under, like, a place where it doesn't get lost in the Tumblr, like, flow. Like, you can't have a conversation on Tumblr because it's just impossible. Like, you reblog something, it gets lost in the dashboard. You message each other, it's limited to, like, one reply, and then you have to, like, send another message. And it's just not feasible. You have to use, like, another source. And we're hoping to be that for you guys. But I got a fucking fire lit under my ass recently when I was watching one of Cannabis Review TV's videos, I believe, on YouTube. Dan, I think that's his name, from Colorado.
Cannabis Review?
Cannabis Review TV. Dan. Like, blonde kid. Babyface. We call him Babyface. He'll never hear this, so we can say it.
Yeah, I know. That's nobody even listens to like what we're.
But Babyface, made a video of the 710 Cup and the Cannabis Cup and all these events.
Good video.
Really good videos. I love his content. I love his coverage. And he interviewed somebody, and they were talking about, or it might have been even the Canna Insider. I just heard this from one of the sources I get, where someone was discussing how they had a dispensary finder, and they were developing an app and this and that. And I was also inspired by it via the Nest Drop thing, and there have been a few cues recently. But I've just really just got frustrated, and I was like, why is the strain database taking so long? The longer I wait, the bigger Leafly gets. It's fucking ridiculous how big of a monopoly they're taking over the market. And not only Leafly, but Weedmaps as well. Like, Leafly is the strain database for everybody goes to, and then Weedmaps is the dispensary finder. And they just grow and grow every day and get more market base. And I just tell myself, like, I just need to dip into that. There aren't that many competitors out there, and I can easily outshine them. And I may not be able to compete with Weedmaps because obviously they have fucking the money and upstart now, and they've been developing longer. But I can put up a competitive enough service that maybe offers different dispensaries and different like services or a different UI that is maybe more easier to use than Weedmaps, or it's just taste. You never know. People just want a different choice. People like choice. So I'm hoping to, I've been making headway in developing the strain database. It's basically set up now. I just got to alter a bit of the framework. I've basically made a custom post taxonomy in WordPress, and that enabled me to, like WordPress, it has a section that you create new posts, and that's called the post section. And then if you install like a plugin, like our shop plugin, it installs like another section called products, and it creates like another post, but it's labeled as a product, and that's how WordPress works. So I've created another section that creates a post, and it thinks of it as a strain, and it'll have different attributes like cannabinoid levels, the breeder that bred it, or the various breeders that breed that one strain, and just those various attributes on the page, and translated as well to the archive page. So I've got to handle all that very soon, but I'm making incredible headway with that. I've like spent one night doing it, and in one night I made more headway than I did in like a week that I struggled previously. It was incredible. That always happens to me. Like I'll spend like a week just like researching something and really trying to like get it to work and struggling to do it, and then I just stop and I say like, let me take a break, and I come back to it a week or two later and I just figure out some secret key that I was missing, and it unlocks everything, and it's super simple. It's crazy. So now we have a strain database in the works as well as a dispensary finder, because not only am I going to do like the separate section for strains, but I'm going to do one for dispensaries, and you'll be able to see a list of dispensaries as well as their menu, map where to find them, their telephone number, email, website, all that jazz. So we're getting up there. We're gonna be the next competitor for all the websites. Like it's fucking, we're your one stop shop for everything. It's gonna be crazy. So that and we're also gonna put together an event calendar as well.
That's my job.
Yeah, it's basically just a big calendar with every single cannabis event, glass show, gallery event. Any sort of live event that we may be hosting, just any event happening in the cannabis community, we're going to try to have it on the calendar for you guys to see. It'll be a way for us to keep track of it because there's so much shit going down constantly, and it'll be a way for you guys to see it as well and plan for things and, buy tickets. We'll have links to like the official pages and stuff, and you'll be able to see all that there. It's nice because all the research that I did for the Cannabis Cup Kickstarter that we did last year, even though we ended up failing that project, I still have all the work there, and I was able to take all the list of the cannabis events that I had built up for the book and all the information, and I'm just basically plugging it in to the website now. It's nice.
You assholes are getting it for free this time.
Basically. So yeah, the fucking big developments, man. I've been programming, been expanding the website in huge ways, and as much as I'm expanding it, my biggest worry next will be promoting the expansions. Like that is my biggest problem. Like getting just the message out to you guys and getting graphics out and making them, and that I feel like that takes more time than the actual development of stuff. Or it just takes more time on top of the development. God damn. So, we have been selling out of the fucking shop due to the holiday season. That's really fucking nice.
It's wonderful, actually.
I really appreciate, everybody supporting through the website, Amazon, any way you can. It's incredible how many orders we've gotten. I literally
You've been working your ass off.
Today I just put out 2 giant boxes of boxes and envelopes of stuff. And I usually put out like 1 box full, and this time it was 2 full boxes. It was nice. It was like double. And this was just today, and I did orders 2 days ago, or just a day before, and it's stacking up again.
Yeah, 2 days ago, yeah.
So I appreciate you guys taking advantage of that 25% off, 35% off both of the sales we did. That was we basically sold out of a lot of our cyclone papers. I got to order some soon again. We sold out of all of our socks. That was crazy. I had to scramble to get socks again, and I'm still like waiting on another shipment.
We have a ton more labels to cut and a ton more labels to like apply.
Yeah, exactly. Like I applied 120 labels, and then I have another, I think 200 and something to apply for the next shipment. It's crazy.
200 socks?
It's gonna be even more.
Because you're replacing colors now,
exactly,
not just the basics.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, fucking crazy.
Crazy. Stocking up the head shops and like the Christmas rush and other like everybody wanted socks. It was crazy. It was like everybody fucking wanted them, and it was really funny. I was browsing like a news article, and it was just the most random comment. I scrolled down and it was the first one. It had nothing to do with the article. The article was about like New York legalizing whatever, blah blah blah, and the comment was from a avatar of like a 60-year-old man, 70-year-old man, and it said, "My 14-year-old granddaughter got marijuana socks for Christmas. We need to start changing the policies and making it stricter, and, like, this is a problem.
What?
I thought it was so funny. Like, that was a thing, like, people getting weed socks for Christmas. Like, it's trending. This was so funny.
You're the cause.
Yeah. Well, we've had so many orders that I've run out of business cards. I had 1,000 or more so business cards, and we've just burned through them all. And then I had like 100 plus stickers or something, and we've burned through those stickers as well because I was using those as replacements for business cards. So I literally have to go and I have to order. Instead of ordering, if you guys have ever ordered from the shop, I send out like a printout paper, like a little card, business card sized, and it has like our shop information, a little QR code, and it has a little special offer for returning customers. And then I offer another business card, and this one's an actual business card, and it's the WeedPornDaily one, and it says my name on the back, and it has all of our social media networks and all that jazz. And then we also, sometimes if I don't put that in, I'll put in just a sticker that says, like a white one with green text that says WeedPornDaily in our logo type, .com. And we ran out of both of those. So now what I'm thinking of doing, rather than offering the business card with the paper, I'm going to offer the the special returning offer code paper with a sticker and just circumvent the whole business card thing. Because I know, like, why... Like, I know people probably maybe throw away the business card or, like, use it to roll up something, tear it up, use it as tips, and that's it. Like, it gets lost. But if I gave you a sticker, I know that shit would get used by 80% of the time, more so than the business card, 30%. So that'll be the next thing. We're going to be ordering stickers to go with every single order. So expect that soon. That'll be nice. And I'll make sure to offer them on the website too if you want to order extra. I'm not sure on the design yet. I haven't finalized it yet, but I'm thinking it's just going to be like some nice frosty nugs, macro, close up, maybe seeing some trichome action, and then the WeedPornDaily logo type on it, or the logo and a link. But we're also going to be ordering die cuts as well, because the die cuts were selling pretty well. You know, they're not flying off the shelf. You know, I don't expect them to, but they're selling pretty well. So I'm going to invest a bit more into the die cuts, and I'm going to get a design that I'm pretty sure will sell at a faster rate, at least initially, than the other ones. And I'm going to start doing the Stone Disney series.
Well, I was going to say the Disney ones are going to finally come out. Yeah. Because of the people that are like, man, this is such a ripoff. I thought I ordered stickers.
Yeah, that was crazy.
That was really funny.
That was so silly. So yeah, we're gonna have hopefully the first one will be the Roxanne print that we had.
That really
be as a
sold
sticker. Yeah, that one was like the most popular one.
And then I hope Ariel is gonna be soon.
Ariel, I finished Ariel and she should be out.
And because of the shape of Ariel, it's going to be a really cool sticker shape.
It'll be very interesting. Yeah, exactly. That's what I was hoping for.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ariel and flounder. Like a stone flounder.
Yeah.
So new shit coming in. More products, expanding the shop.
Very
All
cool.
because of you guys buying shit. That's the only way I can do it. Highly appreciated. And I had to pay so many bills this month. I had to pay, like, the hosting bill again. Because I made the mistake of not being able to buy it by the year, because by the year I think it's $500 or $600, and I was like, I can't do that at once. Yeah, so I'm just gonna pay $50 a month, and $50 a month adds up. So it's slowly adding up, but I've been able to pay it thanks to the sales. It's crazy, highly appreciated.
What we have to hope is that this doesn't drop off once the Christmas season stops.
Yeah, that's my biggest worry, that suddenly the sales stop. Like, I don't worry about them, like, trickling down, because I know that happens.
That's fine, yeah.
Yeah, they trickle and they rise again and fall, and it's holidays and things like that. But my biggest worry is just one day I wake up and
Like, everybody's got socks on.
Everybody's wearing socks. People are holding up balls of hemp wicks and juggling them and, like, wiping their ass with them. And I'm like, no! Fuck, what do I sell? Yeah. Completely lost. Well, I wouldn't be lost, but I'd be fucking sitting on a pile of shitty products that I wouldn't be able to sell. We've been watching a lot of Pot Barons.
That's the new lunchtime TV show.
Yeah. Because I didn't even realize it was airing. And then I fucking bloop, bloop, like, look it up and, like, 4 or 5 episodes. That's the DirecTV or whatever, the fucking, what is it? The one, TiVo. That was the one. That's the sound. I think there were like last 4 or 5 episodes. I think it's 4 episodes. 4. We caught up on the last 4 episodes and just got to get our toes in that water because we've basically experienced most of the cannabis shows.
Well, it was insight into a very interesting perspective where it's 2 realms of one reality, where there are individuals that are integrated into the weed system that they themselves do not participate in, like smoking weed and stuff like that, but they are business people, like, for lack of a better word. Like, they are investors, they are people who take big risks in their assets and things in industries and
or break out of their industry and break into a new one with their assets and take that risk. Mm-hmm. It's something that I've been hearing a lot with the Canna Insider podcast. He interviews a lot of those industry people, and that's the most common story where they have a lot of money that they've made from another industry, whether it be casinos or fucking like alcohol or like something. Like, they've made their money somewhere else. And they're taking all the money they've made there, and they're like, oh, I see another new industry that's booming, and I can really, like, and it's new, and I can, make a footprint in it. It's not like this established industry that these big titans are in it, and I have to compete, and I'm a small business. Like, I can be a small business that booms into a huge industry in, like, a matter of, like, a year. It's very lucrative at this point. So a lot of investors and a lot of key players are stepping into the game now that it's slowly becoming more and more legal. And that it's an incredible illustration of that with this show. Like, the way they... Like, it... I had to sit and watch the show and make GIFs of it. Like, if you guys go to the Pot Barons tag on our Tumblr, you can see the various GIFs. I've made probably over 40 of them. And... just getting to sit and watch the show without sound and break it down basically almost frame by frame, it was fucking, like, I felt like I was, like, doing, like, a psychology, like, fucking lesson or something. Like, it was just, like, weed, money. Weed, money, money. Money, weed, money. Person smoking a expensive cigar in a suit, money. Person handling money. Person exchanging weed for money. Weed. Like, it was...
Weed.
Yeah, it's like, the editing was just... I don't know how many times they reused the same clip footage of, like, money being counted in one of those, like, money machines. Like, it was... Well,
we have to also, I think, contextually speak about, like, this was produced by, what was it, MSNBC?
Yeah.
So, like, it is, like, produced by, like, a news... channel. Like Nat Geo is like, they do education, kind of like Discovery Channel and things like that. Like, those are people about getting interesting perspectives and new discoveries in science.
And we're exploring, like, lions and stuff, okay? We're not, like, sitting behind a board desk and discussing Wall Street. We got other things to do.
Yeah, and then we have MSNBC, which is like a big tycoon kind of situation where they have like whole pool of resources, and they produce this shitty show that has like 5 stock footage things of like money counting and like hands exchanging money. That's all it is.
It's yeah, and it's funny too because the show even features one of the progressive like news anchors on MSNBC
Really?
that I've seen before.
Right
It's
on.
this, I don't know his name. He's just this young face that he comes on and he always talks like liberally about cannabis. So that it's funny that they like not only have limited stock footage, but they also just pull from their own like resources like that. But it's a definitely a decent interpretation of the recreational development, the industry and development, in hindsight. Like a lot of this is filmed and edited like after events happen, so they're able to create a different context on it rather than the context we get when the news is breaking. They're able to develop a whole story and tell it from different perspectives and maybe give like both
an
perspectives.
Outcome also.
Yeah, an outcome exactly. So we are able to see stories progress. It's an interesting, I want to say a nice take on it. I don't want to say an accurate one, but
I would like to say it is a interesting and thorough perspective in terms of we are seeing basically the foundation of big business booming, basically. Like it's like we never got to see alcohol start up, but this is how it was kind of like with alcohol. Like there were people that saw the potential in it and they were like, we got to drop money right now and do this really quick because otherwise we're going to miss opportunity. And we heard that with like how you were just speaking about Dave Warden and the weed, or was it whichever, the wellness, whatever. They were just there first. They were just there early. And that's what was happening in the Pot Barons one where, I forgot, she was the one who did the eye weed, like the Apple Store, Euflora. And she has a partner, the main person from the company, she has a partner who, they're very
synergetic.
Well, they're very synergetic, but it's just like he is on the current, like he is on the pulse of everything that's happening. So he's very hyper conscious of like all of the events happening day by day. So he's like, oh yeah, today is the final day for the deadline for this.
Well, he's like her personal assistant secretary guy, so he's like on top of everything. He does the paperwork. He has to dot every I.
Yeah.
He's the one who's on point.
But he's doing all of this stuff, and what ends up happening is they show them like doing all the application processes, and they show them like doing like all this work, and these people would not be able to do it unless they had the industry know-how, how to do business plans, how to do proposals, how to do estimates, how to go through the process of buying a location and getting it inspected and going through that whole process and stuff like that, all the permitting and things like that. Like, you can't just have like somebody tell you how to do this. It does not work that way. These people have been doing it for a while and they are reapplying their knowledge. And it is crazy seeing it in this show. It really is.
Yeah, like they just brought like a shark into the cannabis pool with that guy, the personal assistant.
Like everybody we see here are guppies, like fucking people that are just kind of trying to make ends meet. Having their dispensaries, having their what is it, edibles industry kind of thing. Like it just looks like a joke in comparison to what Medicine Man is doing and Euflora is doing, where they're like buying a fucking bank with a vault and like shit like that. It's insane.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah. Oh. I don't know, just like perspective wise, it's pretty intense. But yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like it just illustrates how much people really needed to know for jumping into this industry. You see a lot of people that are like, how do I get into the cannabis industry? What do I need to do? How do I do this? How do I do that? And it's like, hey, bro, like, this is just like every other industry. This is just like, it's just another label on top of everything else. So are you a contractor? Are you a designer? Are you like what are you? And then just slap the cannabis label on it.
In front.
Yeah, and that's it. That's all it really is. And you just have to be a professional in your facet. And these people were professionals in establishing retail, establishments, and
they're being aggressive
and manufacturing industries. Yeah. So it was great to see it. the different perspectives they posed. The pot barons, they show a woman from, how you mentioned, Euflora. She runs a high-end Apple Store-esque dispensary where you go in and you order weed on like an iPad, and they bring it to you in like a pre-weighed little container, and you leave and shit. And they interview the Medicine Man people, and that's like a franchise that's building up in Colorado and expanding slowly out. And they highlight Dixie Elixirs and the CEO of that company. Who else? There was like another person, wasn't there? Starbuds, the dispensary owner of Starbuds. Yeah. And they follow the path of these people and how they establish new recreational stores in cities, newly allowing them, and broadening their businesses and expanding into these new territories. And they show like how difficult the process is. So how you mentioned, they had to go and they had to find property in the new city, and then they had to get it inspected, and they had to make sure everything was up to code, and then they had to make sure that it was like 1,000 feet from schools and parks and
like daycare centers and things like that.
And fucking. And they had to do that, and they had to write up a business plan, and they had to get an architect to come in and propose plans and write up the plans and get those to the city and all this and all that. Not only did they have to do all that work, but they also had to invest hundreds of thousands of dollars into the licensing process, as well as renting the actual space and leasing it, and
dropping money,
just leasing it for an application process that they might fail and be sitting on the lease and paying rent for months and utilities and all that, and just forking over that money because
it's an investment.
Lost. Yeah, it was an investment that didn't pay off. So it's incredible to see just how much money gets dumped into these companies and how much it takes to start up. And it really just goes to show how people complain when they say, I don't want it legalized because it becomes too big, like,
too big business.
Big business, yeah, big corporations coming in and taking it over. And that's exactly what's happening. Like, it takes, like, hundreds of thousands of dollars just to start up a fucking dispensary. Like, why can't I just open a fucking store and start selling stuff? Because I need, like, to jump over all these incredible loopholes that the city has regulated.
Like, why do we have, like, we're manufacturing food, and we need, like, what was he saying? I think it was the Starbucks guy. He was like, we need, like, blast protection windows and things like that. Like,
well, that's because the Dixie Elixir people, they also produce, like, they produce tincture edibles, and they do all that in their factory, but they also produce the hash.
Oh yeah.
That goes into their products. So they take cannabis trim, they take cannabis plant matter, and they'll actually combine it and process it in a machine with CO2. And that is just a very, it's a lab-orientated process. So, they probably have to regulate with lab rules where they have to have blast hoods and that, filter all the noxious fumes out, and they also have to have blast-resistant windows so that they don't blow out and hit businesses nearby or bystanders. Like,
there's just a lot of stuff.
It was crazy, yeah, just how many things they had to do and how much money it required. And, you just can't make hash. It's a significant investment.
You can't just sell weed.
And it would be one thing if, you could go to the bank and get like a loan and say like, hey, I want to start a new dispensary. Can you guys lend me some money? Pfft, no. Guess what? Even if you had money and brought it to us, we wouldn't even take it. Take your dirty money and get out of here. Like, banks don't give a fuck. And that's actually one of the topics that they tackled, I think, pretty well on the show. Like, one of the best issues that they highlighted, and they were fairly non-biased, but they showed like just how nonsensical the other side is. The people who don't want to bank with cannabis businesses. They really just showed the medicine man people and the Euflora, I guess. It was mainly the dispensary people. They were struggling to just deposit money into the banks, and they were getting their personal accounts closed and then reopened.
That was so sad, honestly.
Yeah.
Because it's like, they're people that they have families, and then, like, their children's assets get frozen and things like that.
Intense. So all that just because they opened a dispensary. So as much as people complain about, quote-unquote big corporations coming in with legalization and maybe taking over and squashing the little guy, these are little people trying to make big changes in an industry and set standards and just do something that's never been done before. Something revolutionary. So it's really incredible to see. As much as I'm complimenting them,
there was some pretty horrible perspectives shown.
Yeah, and I don't think it was as much as the editing,
it's just what it was.
These people were just like that. Yeah.
Well, it's really, really hard when you look at these kind of shows because there's a part of it that is almost fabricated because you just can't get, people, when you put a camera on them, sometimes they just can't be as genuine as they would be. And people want to show off for the camera, and people want to prove that they have the money or have whatever this, mystical standard that they have in their head.
Character.
Yeah. And boy, did some people really show that off. Yeah, so was it Starbuds was the guy? Or no, it was the Dixie Elixirs guy. Both of them are just characters. Let me just put it that way.
The Starbuds guy, they introduce him, and he's like driving around in a fucking, what was it, a Porsche? I think it was, like a nice Porsche, and
like a really expensive brand new car.
Yeah, and he rolls into a meeting, and they were like, "Oh, did you have traffic?" And then they do a cutaway of him like leisurely rolling with the top down, and he's like, "No, I got here pretty fast." And he's just constantly just throwing his money around and kind of expressing how much money he has. And the Dixie Elixirs dude, every shot of him, if he doesn't have a fucking cigar in his mouth,
it's liquor.
It's liquor, and if it's not liquor, he's sitting in a fancy restaurant, like not eating and drinking liquor or something, or having a cigar. Like, he is like crazy with just how much money he spends. And when they just all of them sit down in those kind of meetings in those fancy settings, I'm like, man, I can't imagine like saying to my like fellow company people, like, hey, like, we can't just roll down to the local pizza place and do a meeting. Like, we have to roll down to like a 5-star like Michelin.
Well, no, like we're gonna go to like a hotel, and we're gonna like rent out the presidential suite and have a party for everybody.
Yeah, and I'm gonna get it catered because I need to discuss some topics with you guys.
Yeah.
Like, I just need to blow all that money like right now for some reason because I need to like make a statement.
Because big business means big money. Like, you gotta just.
And then equally so, the Dixie Elixir people, they try to, I guess, juxtapose that by showing them throwing burgers and beer party for their employees.
That was so fake. It was like they say like every first Friday of the month or something like that, or every Friday. I think it was every Friday.
Yeah,
honestly,
it was. Yeah,
which almost seems it almost ruins the effect.
I'm like, bro, I had burgers yesterday. Can I? Yeah, I don't want them today, and I had them last week and the week before.
Yeah, it's a little intense. You need a break. But they were throwing like a barbecue thing, and what was really funny was that they were showing the barbecue thing, and all it was like alcohol, beer.
Yeah, where were the burgers?
There were no burgers. So it was like one grill shot, and the rest of it was like them doing beer pong, like them drinking alcohol out of like those really big glasses and things like that. Red cups everywhere, solo cup city kind of thing, and it was just like. They show these shots like it's no big deal. It's no big deal. And I mean, I guess it is like the cameraman or the cinematographer doing it for effect and blah, blah, all this garbage. But still, it's pretty intense. It's pretty fucking intense how normalized those kind of shots are.
Well, yeah, and in that respect, like, they're showing all those people and they're panning over and it's really casual and they're just cutting in between, like, people having really, just casual conversations. And whenever they have to show someone smoking, it's constantly like this hyper like aware thing where they're shooting with a telephoto lens, and you're seeing it their face like really close up with a bokeh background, and the smoke is like really in focus, and you're seeing all the smoke because I gotta get it lit, and they do it in slow-mo, so you see like every aspect, every micro fucking expression that we have, and every micro reaction that we face to the
like, and like our dreary eyes and the heavy eyelids and shit like
just
that.
a lot of just negative aspects. Just it's ridiculous how they portray us, and just you see it in a lot of mainstream media, where they'll be like, oh, we can't show pot use. We were watching the Jamaican Attack of the Show 420 special, and they had this part where they were like, all right, time to spark up, and the guy goes to like put it to his mouth, and she's like, no, Kevin, you can't do that on camera, and we have to do it off camera. And I was like, man, like literally you can't just show people smoking. Like there's not even a rule where it says you can do it for 5 seconds or something. Like you just can't do it. It's not that they're smoking cigarettes and there's a law against that. It's just like smoking drugs. Like you can't show drug use. And I'm sure there's a rule that says like you can show it, but it has to be like
fake.
Shown fake, and also shown that like some like the negative effects of it or something. Like it has to be like some drug PSA at the end of the day.
It's like you can't show alcohol in a commercial without saying please drink responsibly.
Exactly. That kind of thing. But it was fascinating to see them tackle dosage limitations as well.
That was a really interesting section, honestly.
That was a very heated issue in the edible world and the Colorado community. And they basically came out and they wanted to limit edibles to 10 milligrams of THC content per edible. And, some edibles, they have up to 300 milligrams of THC content. Some edibles pack like a nice little dose for people who need it, or, maybe you have the fucking wherewithal to just eat a bite and not, like, ravagely and gluttonously consume the whole thing.
Well, it's like you give me a chocolate bar and I only have a square.
Yeah, like, I can control myself. I can pace myself here.
I'm a fucking adult.
Exactly.
Or I'm a child and it's being administered to me by an adult who's responsible.
Exactly. So they talk about that issue and as well, not only the 10 milligram limitation, but they also wanted to signify edibles in some particular way, like limiting the packaging to a child-proof way. Like some edibles are literally in a fucking pill bottle that you would get at like Walgreens or like a fucking pharmaceutical place, and you open it up and boom, like gummies inside or chocolate. Like it's fucking ridiculous. Like what levels we have to go to. And they wanted to, color edibles a particular way. Like edibles would always be red or green or something, and that would signify that this has been infused with cannabis. And it was, hearing that and hearing me say it almost sounds logical. And then actually, having footage of the meeting, which they show in the episode, which was awesome.
Well, they highlight an organization that is for, that they self-proclaim that they're for the safety of the children.
Yeah.
Like, they basically villainize the people who are in the medical industry, even though they service children a huge portion of the time, and,
exactly.
Sorry, go on.
So they're talking to this woman, and she's trying to make a case, and she's like, so you can't just put, frosting on top with a weed leaf? You just can't do that?
I'm sorry, ma'am, but not every single edible is a brownie.
Yeah, with frosting on top. Yeah, the woman was like, I make gluten-free products that already don't include any sort of artificial frosting or cream or anything like that.
No cream or anything like that. Nothing. It doesn't necessarily mean artificial, just vegan or
yeah. Or hey, let's say I have a fucking tincture that's liquid. How am I supposed to frosty that? What extent are we gonna take this? It was ridiculous. And then she had the gall to even come out and say to the same person suggesting the frosting, oh, but can't you just stamp an image on stuff? You can just do that as a cook, right?
Why don't you just print on the cookie, right? They do printing on cookies now.
Yeah, that's a thing. So it was just so ignorant. It was like someone completely daft of the situation and the logistics of it, trying to write legislation for it.
Well, yeah, and it's what happens with anything, and people are just like, why is, like, a board that does, I don't know, for lack of a better word, like
a board sitting of lawyers.
Lawyers, and they're making laws about education. It's like, I'm sorry, but I don't understand why we don't have any actual educators on this board. Exactly. Somebody who does education. Or why are there no medical physicians on this board? This is a medical situation. Mm-hmm. You know, like, why are we talking about this woman who I don't know who she is, but I'm just going to call her right now. It just sounds like she's a concerned mom. And she is trying to get a law made out of her, like, concerned mom, like fears. It's like those people that they do, I'll just leave it at that.
What? Fucking moms. Scared. That's essentially what it is. Like, there was a point where, just the footage of the meeting was just so dizzying, because I would be sitting there and it would just be like,
I would literally be sitting with my hands in my, my face in my hands.
I wouldn't even know how to rebuttal some of it. Like, you know, it's crazy. Like you just can't keep it away from your child. You know, like you just can't.
Like, are you that afraid that you're that bad of a parent that you will not be able to control your child going to school and control what they have access to? Like, are you that afraid?
Let me break it to you, honey. There's a really nice, tantalizing-looking blue liquid sitting at the bottom of your fucking sink in the cabinet, and it's very accessible to your child, and it looks very, like, appealing. And you know what most parents do to a child that's, like, roaming around the house and starts looking through cabinets and stuff? They stop them and they say, hey, don't drink this bleach stuff because it's gonna fucking kill you.
No. There are apparently so many irresponsible parents out there that they don't even go and think to themselves, like, I'm going to speak to my child as a parent and educate them. I'm going to not even mention anything to them and just lock up shit and buy locks from Toys R Us or Babies R Us that actually just lock the cabinet. And the child can't unlock the cabinet unless I put a safety lock on it that can only be unlocked by an adult, because apparently adults are the only sensible people that can open child-proof locks. Mm. Even though I myself am a child that have opened a child-proof, like, medicine container and ingested, like, you know, over, like, you know, 500 milligrams of a medication that I should not have done and almost overdosed. Like, that doesn't happen every day with regular medicine. Like, sorry, I'm, like, ranting. Yeah.
It's the Miss WeedPornDaily right
It's so episode. Stupid, huh?
It's the Miss WeedPornDaily right episode.
Sorry.
It's a matter of parents just not carrying personal responsibility for their children, and just having the foresight to just edify them on the situation, educate them, and just having the state provide actual valid information on this, and not, you know, propaganda, not fear-mongering information provided by these parents, you know, like real facts, you know, and treat this substance equally like we would treat everything else. You know, why are we demonizing this cannabis and having all these crazy requirements for it when we can have alcohol and it's served in these, like, plastic top bottles that are easily opened by children and served in, like, fruity concoctions that cover and mask the taste of the alcohol?
Well, they can have commercials on TV and they can, like, glorify them and everything like
exactly.
that. You know?
There's just so many problems with that. But it was interesting to see the situation being handled by the business owners and seeing them personally go through it. It's one thing to read articles about edibles being destroyed due to this, dosage limitation and things like that, and it's another thing to see the people in, you know, multiple clips having to take a huge batch of product out, you know, destroy it, and, you know, sit over it and be like, yeah, you know, how much product was that? You know, 800, how much, like 100 pounds of chocolate? Yeah, that was like a nice, you know, Ferrari for my, you know, daughter. Like, yeah, just getting that perspective, like, yeah, it was a chunk. It wasn't just a passing article. This was an event for someone. Yeah. So Pot Barons, it's one of the better, cannabis documentaries out there. Cannabis series. It's fairly, I guess, non-biased. But honestly, I do think it does have a bit of a bias towards cannabis, and it's more so because it's recognizing that cannabis is an industry that is undeniable and is very profitable. So it's taking that perspective, like why.
Look at this industry, see the potential.
Yeah, look at all this crazy potential. Why even say no? We understand that it's yes, 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 and it's not a matter of yes, it's a matter of how much at this point. And that's
how big.
Yeah, or how big is it going to get? So it's nice to see that it's at that perspective, and that we're at that point. We can only have this kind of documentary because of the progression that we made over the years. This documentary wasn't getting made 5 years ago because Weed Wars was getting made about medical marijuana states, and American Weed was getting made about medical marijuana states. And now that we finally have recreational states, we're going to finally start seeing some actual, well, not actual, but
we see some realities that people are going through.
Yeah, more close to reality and not these very niche, medical knit communities and things like that.
Well, we just don't see, instead of seeing coverage about weed, about cops coming out of helicopters, swooping in and taking down grows and things like that, we're seeing, all other, TV shows get handled about businesses where we see, people having to go through permits, people having to go through different building departments and the city officials. And we see real things happening. We don't see these fabricated big busts and things like that.
I mean, the next show we're going to see is Token Places, where it's like trading places or something.
Oh, and Token Places. Oh.
It's like a designer comes in, all right, I can see it right now. This wall's going to be green, this wall's going to be red, and we're going to get some nice glass shelves over here, and totally. It's just becoming yet another thing that.
And honestly, that's what it should be.
Exactly.
That's what it should be, because we were watching it. We were in Disney and we saw a TV show called, what was it, Drinking Around the World, or Drinking Around the World in 80 Days or something like that. Do you remember that? And it was a guy that. It was on the Travel Channel, and I need to look this up.
I know what you're talking about.
It was it was a guy that he was going around the world, and all it was him drinking and getting hammered.
Yeah.
He was going to German beer gardens and things like that, and just drinking. He was in somewhere in Europe, and he was in a bathtub made out of alcohol, taking a bath in the alcohol and drinking beer at the same time. I forgot what it was. And he was just doing the super frivolous, extreme lifestyles, and it's just normalized because alcohol is a part of our culture now, and that's all it is. We'll go through Disney or something, and I'll see a Heineken T-shirt here. I'll see a Budweiser hat over there. I see this with marketing for Bud Light and all these things, whatever, and it's normal. It's normal, and that's how it should be with weed. Is that it should just be another thing that is just talked about and depicted on television, and that's what it should be. So I'm happy that Pot Barons is taking that step or whatever. So,
opening the door for the next Anthony Bourdain of Buddha. Hey, watch out! That's right. So that's about it for this edition of the Weed Porn Daily podcast. If you guys want to check out our YouTube channel, we've got plenty of videos going up there. We're going to be doing plenty of new, exciting styles of content. And some of the old content, just in better quality, different songs, better angles, new angles, more weed. Make sure to check out the shop, as always, weedporndaily.com/shop. Make sure to check out 420radio.org. We are on a fucking radio network. That's right. It's hard to believe, but there is an actual radio network full of weed. And you can find it by going to 420radio.org or downloading, I think they have an app in the App Store. You can check that out. Or they have a Stitcher feed that you can subscribe to if you get the Stitcher app. But 420 Radio, we're on, I think, Tuesdays or something. You can check the schedule on the website, but We get syndicated on there along with Coral Reefer, Russ Belville, Jorge Cervantes, the Cannabis Cure UK, mate. You thought I was gone, didn't you? You thought I was bloody gone, didn't you? You saw me on Tokens videos, and you were like, "Oi, mate, where's this mate? His website's down. His shop is all sold out. You know, his Twitter is really inconsistent. What's going on, mate?" And you didn't know. I was on 420radio.org the whole time.
Stop trying to copy Johnny Depp.
Cannabis. He doesn't even talk like that. If you listen to him, he's like super different. But it's the closest I'm gonna get. But Cannabis Cure UK, man, I was like, holy shit, that guy's still doing stuff.
Okay, so we're on 420 Radio.
We're on 420radio.org, so check that out. I appreciate you guys listening. I appreciate you guys watching the videos, buying stuff, liking, reblogging, sending us messages, engaging, and just becoming a part of this wonderful thing that is weed porn. It is fantastic. So please, the next time you light one up, kick back, relax, really soak in the moment, soak in the smoke, and settle in to the comforting hands of Mary Jane and let her take you on a journey. Close your eyes possibly if you can, just take some breaths, and don't even just try to think, just let it take you where, the journey wants to take you, and let Mary Jane shine that light that she does inside of you and show you different parts of yourself that you maybe didn't know, or maybe show parts of yourself that you did know and make you feel stronger, more passionate about those particular parts. Just let her loving arms reach inside of you and evoke some positive change, because it's not only a nutritional support through the cannabinoid system and regulating your appetite and regulating inflammation and stress and things like that, but it's also about the psychedelic effect of the plant and the message that it's constantly trying to convey, the fact that this plant has been able to subsist through constant years of prohibition, and it's been able to plant a seed inside of every stoner's mind and tell them to grow it, to overgrow the government, and to have the plant grow past its limitations, past its boundaries, and keep alive and grow more powerful and stronger with every single strain. That kind of spirit, that kind of power that we invoke every time that we puff is something that we should definitely tune into more often. So open your ears and stay regular, super stoners.